Hidden under the bed was a man. When the space was uncovered, blinding sunlight instantly struck his face, and his skin began to rot rapidly. The searing pain woke him up as he frantically tried to crawl back into the shadows. However, the bearded elder mercilessly dragged him out. Fully exposed to the sunlight, his skin began to sizzle and burst with popping sounds. He clutched his eyes and let out twisted laughter, but there was no sympathy left for him among the villagers. They brought out a wooden stake and aimed it at his heart. The elder raised an iron hammer and swung it with force, putting an end to his suffering in an instant. But it didn't stop there. Those hiding in wardrobes, storage boxes, and other dark corners were found one after another and dragged out. Without hesitation, all of them met the same fate. The villagers knew very well that these creatures, unable to withstand sunlight and surviving by drinking human blood, were monsters. They had taken over the village, and any mercy toward them would spell doom for everyone. At that moment, the village doctor received devastating news. His elderly mother had died. Everyone rushed to the hospital only to find her lying in a pool of blood. The window glass had a chilling message scrawled on it. "Your mother cannot be brought back." The doctor understood immediately. This was retaliation from the vampire's faction. Rage boiled over among the villagers. They noticed bloody footprints on the floor and began to wonder, could this lead them to the culprits? Following the trail of the vampire's footprints, the villagers reached the second floor and opened a wardrobe. Inside, they found a foolish vampire napping, and to their shock, it was none other than the recently deceased son of the bearded elder. As expected, intelligence, or the lack of it, seemed to remain unchanged both in life and death. Seeing his useless son even in this state, the elder's rage boiled over. He grabbed a wooden stake, ready to personally end this disgrace. The clueless son, realizing the danger, turned and tried to flee, but his furious father had no intention of letting him off so easily. As time slipped into dusk, the villagers' day of hunting vampires was coming to an end. They began counting the bodies in the pit, but the doctor noticed something alarming. The number of vampires eliminated didn't match the total known to exist. There had to be several times more remaining. But where were they hiding? The villagers had searched every corner of the village. The only possibility was that the vampires had gone underground. When the doctor thought of underground areas, a chilling realization struck him. The village's irrigation system for the crops? This underground water zone wasn't currently in use since it was farming season, making it the perfect hiding spot. However, with the sky growing darker, they had no choice but to seal the area for now and wait until morning. The villagers sealed all the exits to the village, planning to wait until sunrise to storm the underground hideout and kill all the vampires. With that decided, they prepared to descend into the tunnels. A woman glanced at the sky, noticing that dawn was approaching. She knew vampires could only act during the night and would soon fall into a deep slumber at sunrise. Realizing the urgency, she quickly followed the group. What none of them anticipated was how quickly the villagers, armed with all sorts of weapons, would track the vampires to their hiding place using the footprints. As they prepared for the impending massacre, there was no hesitation in the villagers' hearts. They knew these creatures were nothing but undead monsters who survived by draining human blood. If they didn't eliminate them completely, it would be their own lives at risk. The villagers turned on their flashlights and began searching the tunnels, following the pipes. Sure enough, it wasn't long before they found the vampires. Since it was daytime, the creatures were fast asleep, completely unaware of the danger approaching. The villagers wasted no time. They grabbed wooden stakes and aimed them at the vampires' hearts. The black-haired man tasked with delivering the final blow to one of them froze when he recognized the familiar face. It was someone who had once been part of their village. His hands trembled as he raised the hammer, struggling internally with the decision. Before he could act, the burly man beside him, nicknamed Hat Brother, snatched the hammer and struck decisively, driving the stake into the vampire's chest without hesitation. Inspired by this, the rest of the villagers were energized, as if spurred on by his example. They grabbed their tools and began mercilessly driving stakes into the hearts of the sleeping vampires, one by one.